This time, we're diving into the world of high-end furniture design with the discovery of two Osvaldo Borsani armchairs. These masterpieces are of Italian design from the 1950s. Borsani himself was a renowned mid-century designer whose work is featured in prestigious museums. These particular chairs, known as the P40 model, boast unique features like adjustable backrests and expandable footrests, adding to their functionality and desirability. The appraised individual value of the chairs is
£3,000 each.
Negotiation commences, with the buyer eventually settling on a price of
2006.
USA. Dear, thank you.
The guest is drawn to this green bust, identified as a bronze boy's head sculpture dating back to 1920. The signature of the sculpture, French-Italian artist Guri, adds to its intrigue. Guri was born in Florence in 1895 and died in 1925, but little is known about his life or artistic career. His specialization was Art Deco figurative sculptures, and this bust is a beautiful example of that style. The boy's melancholic expression and the polished marble base contribute to the overall aesthetic. However, these sculptures are widely faked and reproduced, and this makes a risky buy. An appraised estimate of this piece is worth
around £1,000.
Despite the potential for forgery, negotiation leads to a successful purchase at
Do on that little fella.
360, I can do for 3.
Sure.
Yep.
Great. We'll have
Okay,
him.
thank you.
Lovely. Nice little thing.
This desirable and versatile vintage tailor's dressing mirror has a little intriguing backstory to it. It has a captivating and unique Japan finish with a crackle glaze effect. It's in elegant form and perfect condition. The item is both aesthetically pleasing and has the fractional functionality of the adjustable upstand. The mirror is an English tailor's mirror dating back to the 1950s. It features a classic back timber frame and original mirror plate, adding to its historical value. The appraised worth is
Worth around £700.
After negotiations, the mirror was finally sold for
240.
240. Yeah, I'll have it.
Okay, thank you.
Marvellous. We have really good luck with these.
The guest's keen eye immediately lands on a pair of modernist armchairs upon arriving. These late 1970s chairs boast a distinctive Scandinavian design, featuring comfortable rattan seating and beautiful splatwork, details that add a touch of visual intrigue. Despite some minor damage to the rattan, the tactility of the material and the overall design is visually appealing. The armrail with that lovely point, and then the widened and flattened armrests are just incredibly classy and stylish. This pair of caned walnut lounge chairs are typical of high-end Danish designers of the time. At an auction, after restoration, it could be worth
£1,200.
Negotiation commences, but after some back and forth discussion, they reach a final price of
400 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine, we'll have them.
Deal, man.
Well,
Deal.
thank you.
These fascinating chairs are a unique blend of Eastern and Western styles. Crafted in 19th century India, they are specifically designed for the English and French market. The design itself is inspired by traditional dowry chairs, gifted during weddings. What makes them truly special is their covering. It is made of tin, not fabric. The tin features intricate designs pressed onto the surface, adding visual interest and texture. Considering their age, origin, and unique pressed tin decoration, the appraised value of these chairs would be
Around £1,500.
Negotiation is swift, with the seller offering them for
1,300 for the pair.
Again, that's not bad. I'm going to have to get the big checkbook out today, I think.
Yes?
Yeah, it's going to be an expensive day.
An old but great-looking Everett stall is found in an industrial facility. This Everett stall is tall and has a comfortable footrest. It is rather rare to see such work stalls having both a footrest and backrest together. Nevertheless, the tall work stall was sold at
75 quid for that one.
Okay, thank you very much.
Along with the tall Everett work stall are two shorter ones. History has it that these stalls were manufactured by Everett, a British company making industrial furniture for factories and offices, established in the 1930s. This company has remained popular sellers till today because of their timely designs combined with robust constructions. These shorter stalls, combined together, are estimated at £400. But due to overuse, the value of these stalls have been affected. The stalls were finally sold at
50 quid for that one.
And 40 for that one.
40 for that one.
Yeah, that's
Deal?
a deal to me.
The guest showed an office chair mounted on a wooden wheel base. It was made by an English manufacturer called Hillcrest in the 1950s. With a large whipped metal screw design beneath, the height of this chair can be adjusted. What's worthy of note is that this design is found on many Hillcrest chairs, but due to the years of usage, this chair is in bad shape. Once restored, it could be worth around £200. However, a price has been placed and it is sold for
80.
The guest came in to meet a very old-looking waltzer car. In its current state, the waltzer car is not worth much on the market at all. The most unique part of this car is the 40-year-old waltzer name printed on the back. Also, the faded colours and flaking all around the sides give it an aesthetic look. However, to increase its market value, a remodelling to fit a living room setting is suggested. This remodelling is to be done on the insides, leaving the outside as it is. With mind-blowing creativity, this old car is transformed to a living room furniture, with a stool covered with velvety material. The upholstery is lined with beautiful lights in and around the car. Another amazing feature is a switch on the side of the stool, opening a cavity in the stool to reveal a television set. The price for this car grew from £400 to a whopping sum of
I think £2,500 to £3,000 is easily achievable to rock.
I was really surprised. I wasn't expecting him to like it as much as he did.
The guest found this exquisite table in a 1,000-year-old country house. The table, known as Hayrake Table, was first designed by Ernest Gimson. He was a renowned figure in arts and crafts furniture in the early 1920s. These tables were recognized by the distinctive double-ended Y-shape at the base. However, this particular table is not in good shape due to the years of use. In a pristine condition, it could be worth around £4,000, but given its present condition, the price goes down too.
I'm not going to mess about, I'll give you £2,000 for it.
Fair enough.
Yeah?
Yep, thank you.
The guest recognized a quality armchair from the Victorian era, made by Howard & Sons. In the Victorian era, Howard & Sons were considered one of the best chair makers and known for their unique handmade pieces. These chairs were quite popular as they were made with the finest materials, but this armchair is in poor condition as 3 of its tapering legs are damaged and its material ripped. In this state, this armchair requires a complete restoration. If restored to top condition, it could be worth £1,500. However, due to its present condition, a more realistic price would be
£450 for it as it is.
Okay.
Is that acceptable?
Yep.
A 200-year-old polychrome painted statue of Mary was brought to Nick Elphick for restoration. The statue, believed to be Southern European, was crafted from softwood. They discussed the piece's numerous issues, including broken fingers, missing parts of the robe, and facial damage. Nick began by cleaning the statue, removing dust without using water to avoid creating mud. The damage on the face of the statue was addressed using traditional wood filler. Nick then sculpted the new fingers using softwood doweling, positioning them to look natural. Achieving a seamless appearance for the statue's hands required great skill and patience. A traditional gesso mixture was applied to the carved piece of wood to repair Mary's robe.
It's a very nice sort of hard shell, almost like an egg shell over the top. Weird how they found this stuff out really all those years ago, and actually it's still used today.
Nick paid special attention to matching the skin tones and other details of the statue's face. He emphasized the importance of patience for seamlessly blending the old and new materials. After restoration, the piece was brought back to the host, who was astonished by the quality of the work. The host highlighted the excellence of Nick's work, especially on the hands and face. Initially bought for £1,000, the restored statue's value significantly increased too.
Close to 3,000. Really? I think so.
These old Gothic antique shops exude charm, drawing in enthusiasts and collectors alike with its unique treasures. Among them, Drew Pritchard, a seasoned expert in antiques, meticulously examines each item with a discerning eye. One standout is the early 17th century staircase. Its craftsmanship speaks volumes of its historical significance and architectural beauty. Drew's admiration extends to a Coromandel wood trinket box from the 1830s, notable for its rarity and exquisite detailing, reflecting Sri Lanka's rich craftsmanship. Valued at approximately £250, its scarcity contributes to its high desirability among collectors. Moreover, Drew purchased a bedside pot for £200, intending to sell it after some minor restoration for around £325. His exploration continued at an antique warehouse in Evesham, where he discovered a unique item, a Gothic linen cupboard that caught Drew's attention for its simplicity and elegance, reminiscent of Augustus Pugin's influential style revival in the 19th century. Originally from a church, its classic lines make it an ideal addition to any home, valued at approximately £700. Moving on to the English, Welsh and Scottish railway first aid cabinets, Drew found these pieces intriguing for their historical significance and quirky details. Originating from locations like Bristol, these cabinets feature original hand-painted finishes and interior compartments, retaining elements from their use during periods like the Second World War.
Great original paint, quirky inside, fun, but pretty original. It's had a couple of bits of repainting.
Despite some repainting over time, they remain authentic and charming, potentially fetching around £600 each. During negotiations, Drew secured one cabinet for £350, with an additional £10 for the key, highlighting his keen eye for value and quality. Another similar cabinet, purchased for £360, was discussed for a potential retail display, after having previously sold a comparable piece for £550. Throughout his journey, Drew's restoration expertise shines, from meticulously cleaning mahogany pieces to preserve marble tops and enhance their allure with careful staining and waxing. Houses are often built with traditional designs and predictable layouts, but this house is a unique blend of inspiration, creativity, and global influences. Nick's house, although appearing old, is actually new, built over 6 or 7 years. He drew inspirations from an old magazine sketch. Nick spent 4 years constructing it while converting outbuildings into holiday lets.
And Nick built this over the course of about 4 years, because at the same time we were converting some outbuildings.
On a trip to Rajasthan, he filled 2 40-foot containers with reclaimed materials. They were used in the holiday lets, with the surplus incorporated into his house. Now he seeks to dispose of excess items to create space. The house features a striking dragon on the roof. Inside, a tree stands in the middle, adding a unique touch. The design, inspired by a house that has a distinctive spiral layout in St. Petersburg, the decor is eclectic, with Indian furniture, Balinese pieces, and a Chinese cabinet from Malaysia. The barn is filled with 30 years of collected items, including an Armstrong Siddeley and a Morris Minor on the mezzanine. It also contains Balinese figures and a Ganesh statue. These items, though new, are highly decorative. The Ganesh statue represents the remover of obstacles and the Lord of Good Fortune in Hinduism. The wood carvings are handmade and hand-painted, showcasing clear craftsmanship. The worth of the collection of wood carvings is...
Collection of wood carvings could be worth around £800.
Nick accepted €500 for the Balinese dancers and Ganesh statues. In Suffolk, furniture restorer Steve meticulously restores an antique rosewood sofa dating possibly to the mid-19th century. Initially ravaged by woodworm, Steve expertly replaced damaged sections with beechwood, ensuring structural integrity with new mortise and tenon joints. Working swiftly with traditional animal glue, he reassembled the frame, maintaining its historical construction. The challenges of aligning the slightly twisted framework were overcome with careful clamping, ensuring the sofa remained perfectly straight. In East London, upholsterer Ray Clark took over, crafting a new seat cushion with layers of hessian and horsehair, meticulously stitched to preserve the sofa's authenticity. Ray's polyester velvet upholstery is in a vibrant protea print. Ray transformed the piece into a bold style. His attention to detail included teasing and layering the horsehair stuffing for comfort and longevity. In Essex, dealer Saxon awaited the finished piece, now a stunning fusion of historical craftsmanship and contemporary flair. The once dilapidated sofa, now a masterpiece, boasts a solid supportive feel with traditional upholstery techniques evident in every stitch. Saxon and Steve marvel at the transformation, acknowledging its potential and valued it as.
Such, you're looking 1800, maybe 2000 even.
I totally agree with that.
You need an eye to see the hidden treasures in Portugal. Drew and T go on a special buying trip to Portugal. They visit the oldest antique store in Lisbon. The visit is exciting as Drew negotiates with a second-generation dealer for 2 busts and a statue. At first, Drew offers £4,000, but they finally agree on £5,003 for all 3 items. Drew notes the historical importance and beauty of the pieces. He feels confident they will sell well.
And before Drew and T head off, Manuel's invited them to take a look at some pieces in his warehouse.
The warehouse is an 18th century house with original paint and finishes. Drew is amazed by it. Inside, they find a lot of architectural pieces. Drew is especially impressed by the detailed and beautiful craftsmanship. Some pieces are as good as those in major museums around the world. Drew finds part of a church altar from the 1980s and offers £8,000.
I think to be around 12.
12,000.
12,000.
Okay.
It can go to 16, but to be around 12.
I trust you.
They agree Drew will return in a few days to finalise the deal after inspecting everything. The next day, Drew sees the full collection. Manuel raises the price to £20,000 and Drew agrees. He knows restoration is needed, but is confident in the profit. Motorcycles are often admired, but this Indian Scout is a gem of about £20,000. Drew stepped into Dirk's shop in Germany with eager eyes, immediately drawn to a rare find, a 1929 Indian Scout motorcycle designed by Charles B. Franklin. Despite the temptation, Drew knew he needed profitable antiques, so he refocused on the available sale items. His attention turned to an early 1900s steel medical cabinet with original distressed paint and a pull-out work surface.
This high-quality medical cabinet dates back to the early 1900s and would have been used in either a dentist's surgery or a surgical theatre.
Drew secured the cabinet, recognizing its potential value to be around.
In this unrestored original condition, it could be worth around £1,500.
Next, Drew's interest was piqued by a mid-20th century papier-mâché carnival head, a lightweight yet durable piece from a town festival. He swiftly bargained down to.
So what would that one cost?
100.
100, which is about 70 quid. That's
70.
71. Deal.
Super.
Thank you.
The discovery continued with a 1920s German mannequin head, weathered and painted over the years, priced at €100, another unique addition to Drew's growing haul. Drew found a 1980s plexiglass modular unit, negotiating for the vintage piece to be.
Can we do it €225?
How much is this in pounds?
160. Sold.
Thank you.
His knack for finding bargains was evident in his purchase of Tice Econ hanging lights, known for their iridescent shades and theatrical origins, all secured for £100. With each acquisition, Drew balanced his passion for unique pieces with his keen business acumen, making calculated investments to bolster his antique inventory. Drew returned to Alistair's house, immediately intrigued by the vast array of items for sale. First, a William IV chest from around the 1830s caught his eye, covered in calfskin and metal banding, valued at £250. Drew negotiated and bought it for
75, I suppose that'll be it.
Yeah, I think I'd probably be happy to let that
Yeah,
go for
I'd definitely have
175
that
actually. Yeah, okay,
Marvellous.
cheers. Yeah.
Next, he found a mahogany-framed pole screen with woolwork tapestry panels dating back to the early 19th century, worth around £300. Drew also bought it for
175?
Yeah,
Marvellous.
okay, cheers.
The highlight was a cast iron umbrella stand from the late 19th century, designed in the aesthetic movement style, worth around £900. Drew purchased it for
350. Have it done as gentlemen.
All right.
Marvellous, thank you so much.
Exploring the outbuildings, Drew found vintage tin cricket scoreboard numbers, distressed over time, worth £220. He bought the collection for
Tenner a pop? 110 quid?
Yeah, blimey. Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, sure. Okay, cheers. Got it.
Playing the numbers game now.
Each item showcased unique qualities, blending historical significance with aesthetic appeal. Drew and T visited Steve at Kent London, the oldest signwriters in London, renowned for neons and vintage signs. Steve, the current managing director, was clearing out items as they prepared to move from Hackney to Essex, Drew was immediately intrigued by Steve's collection of vintage enamel signs, many of which had been upcycled or adorned with neon. In Steve's shop, Drew admired a Manchester sign, but learned it wasn't for sale.
Tell you what, I really like that.
What, my Manchester sign?
Yeah. That predates Cat's Eyes in the Road, that type of sign.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that bit ain't for sale, Drew.
Instead, he focused on a Rellington sign, created by Steve's father, an accomplished signwriter. Drew bought it, appreciating the craftsmanship and family history. Drew then explored the main shop, eyeing a sex shop neon sign and a large cross. Steve priced the cross and the neon sign as...
That cross, I'd probably be looking about 1,200 quid for that. Sex shop neon, looking at about 600 for that.
Drew negotiated and bought the neon sign, and can sell for...
He can sell it on exactly as he found it. It could be worth around £900.
The visit proved successful, with Drew securing 2 valuable ready-to-sell signs, making the trip worthwhile. Michael and Maria Start, Automata restorers, helped Drew Pritchard with a circus performer automation based in one of the oldest towns in Scotland, Forres. Michael and Maria Start have been restoring automata for over 30 years. Today, they visit antique dealer Drew Pritchard in North Wales, who has found a fascinating piece for them. The item is a circus performer automation, known for its complex clockwork and music. The 19th century saw a surge in automata makers in Paris, creating pieces with intricate mechanical movements. This particular automation needs a new head, clothes, and extensive mechanical work. Michael begins by fixing the mechanism, starting with the cams that control the acrobat's movements. He replaces a failed lever with a new brass piece, ensuring precision for the automation's performance. Meanwhile, Maria sculpts a new head from clay and casts it in silicon.
She's made a new head from clay and now needs to cast it in a silicon mold.
Once complete, the automation is reassembled with vibrant clothes and a hand-painted face. The restoration acrobat performs its routine flawlessly, impressing Drew. The restoration took 180 hours, costing around
180 hours?
A lot of hours.
Right.
So it's about £10,000 of work gone into this.
Right.
The automation starting price is £15,000, but at a fair, it could fetch up to...
This would be 15,000. So yeah, if
We're in a good place.
you're in a nice London fair, you maybe 22.5 you'd ask.
Drew is thrilled with the transformation and appreciates the Stark's meticulous work. Chairs are not just for sitting, they are a statement of style and comfort. In this instructional video, the steps for reupholstering dining room chairs are shown. Basic tools like screwdrivers, staple guns, shears, and flame-retardant fabric are needed. The process starts by removing the seat and taking off the old fabric and foam. New foam, slightly bigger than the seat, is cut and glued for smooth edges.
Always wise to oversize your foam, glue it to it, then cut round it.
Polyester wadding is added to protect the fabric. The fabric is then centered over the foam and pulled tight. Staples are used to secure the fabric, starting from the curved side for a smooth look. Clear tips are given for handling corners to avoid large folds.
So for this chair, I've chose a nice grey fabric. With modern furniture, everything has to be flame retardant. Your foam, your interliners, your fabrics, everything have to comply with regulations.
Excess fabric is trimmed for a neat finish. Finally, black fabric is added to the bottom for a tidy appearance. The result is a smooth, wrinkle-free chair seat. The video highlights that this project can be done at home, with patience. Careful attention to detail is essential. Flame-retardant materials are important for safety. The video emphasizes using slightly oversized foam. This project is accessible to anyone willing to try. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
The thing is, take your time and double check everything before you actually staple or cut.
Paul Everett greeted Drew and T. Paul mentioned his work in leather colouring and French polishing. They explored the workshop, noting everything was for sale. Drew spotted a rare 19th century campaign chest priced at £1,000, negotiated too.
What for that?
That's got to be £1,000.
800 quid?
850.
Sold. Thanks very much.
Next, Drew admired a Pembroke table priced at £1,250, but he bought it for
Do 100 quid off.
11.50, yeah, sold.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, marvellous.
Cheers, thanks.
Paul revealed his background in furniture, having worked as a cabinet maker and antique restorer. Drew found an original bookcase for...
If I pay 4.5,
Yeah.
are you all right if you've got somebody to help?
Yeah,
will you help?
Yeah,
Will you
no,
help
we can
the
help.
boys?
We put it on the van.
Yeah?
Yeah, of course we will. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Thank you very much.
A Croissant coffee table was valued at £1,100 and acquired for...
And so beautiful. How much, Paul?
380. Thank you very much.
Sold, thank you. 380 quid. Don't argue with the man.
Drew also bought a metamorphic chair for...
That's got to be 400 quid.
400 quid. Yeah, it's on the cusp, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, okay, brilliant.
Right,
Thank
yeah,
you
we'll
very
have that
much.
as well. Thank you very much.
Cheers, thanks.
Finally, a carved Indian stag sculpture was purchased for...
Asking for that.
That's got to be £500. Lovely. Thank you very much.
Sold, thank you.
Drew's buying spree was highly successful, acquiring rare and valuable pieces. Today, Drew embarked on a visit to Cheadle to meet Paul Wilson, a passionate collector of antiques and architectural artifacts. Paul's bungalow overflowed with a diverse array of treasures accumulated over years of dedicated collecting. From Georgian pieces to 1970s items, the collection spanned various eras and styles, showcasing Paul's eclectic tastes. One standout item was a Howard & Sons ottoman, dating back to the late Georgian period. Despite its current condition needing restoration, after it's fully restored is...
If fully restored, it could be worth around £4,000.
Drew negotiated a deal with Paul, settling on...
Can you do 1,500?
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with over 100 quid, so... Yeah,
Okay.
all right, fine.
That's
fine.
smashing, thanks.
Another remarkable find was a 1930s dome-shaped ceiling lamp crafted by the French crystal maker, Dome. This exquisite piece, featuring intricate designs and quality craftsmanship, valued at approximately £1,250, Drew made some negotiations and bought it for...
600 would buy it.
You happy with that?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mess about with you for 100 quid.
Okay, smashing. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
That's great.
Among the furniture, a rare Anglesey-made cupboard known as a cupboard barrack house caught Drew's eye. Dating from the early 19th century and in exceptional condition, it was priced at £1,400. After a brief negotiation, they settled on...
Yeah, I'll sell it you for 1,200 quid.
Sure.
Yeah, it's yours. Thanks, Drew.
Marvellous, thank you very much.
Drew admired Paul's passion for his collection and knowledge of each item's history and significance. It was clear that Paul's dedication had created a home filled with not just objects, but with stories and craftsmanship. Loading the van, Drew reflected on a successful day, with notable pieces that would delight future buyers. Drew visited a familiar spot, eyeing potential purchases amidst a vast collection. He was particularly interested in some valuable pieces. However, certain items, like the garage signs, were marked for auction. The collection featured rare and high-quality kitchen items. Drew appreciated Stuart's passion for collecting, evident in the unique pieces. Among the finds were ladies' and gents' signs, likely from the early 20th century theatres or cinemas. Despite slight damage, the pair could fetch around £550. Drew negotiated them down too.
Ooh, I'd like 275 for the pair.
275. Well,
They are wired, they are done.
yeah. Yeah, I'll have that.
Cheers, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
In another area, Drew discovered mid-20th century metal lamps used at Goodwood Revival. These workshop lamps caught his interest, each valued at...
It could be worth around £175 each.
He also found metal cabinets from the 1940s, which had been used at Goodwood Revival. These cabinets, ideal for kitchen or hallway storage, were valued at £200 each. Drew secured them for...
Yeah, let's have them.
Good man.
Paying 50 quid each for the cabinets.
Drew successfully sealed 3 deals, acquiring items that consistently sell well. Stuart, pleased with the transactions, felt happy knowing others would enjoy his beloved pieces. Drew promptly sent the ladies and gents signs to Gav for restoration. Despite a crack, the signs were carefully repaired and rewired. The restoration process ensured they were ready for sale, enhancing their appeal. Nick Alfick, a sculptor and fine artist, expects a visit from dealer Saxon Durrant. Saxon brings an unusual item for Nick, a large weathered 2-sided pub sign. The sign, depicting a cricket game on a village green with Charrington Brewery lettering, has suffered flaking and faded paintwork due to years outdoors. Nick, known for his skill with a paintbrush, plans to restore it without making it look new. The cricket figures are the main focal point, and Nick decides to restore one side while keeping the other side weathered to preserve its originality. Initially, in its damaged state, its worth is...
I mean, at the moment in this condition, 150 quid maximum, absolute maximum.
Its value is expected to increase after restoration. Nick begins by cleaning the sign with a soft brush and soapy water. To preserve the original paintwork, he uses a mixture of PVA glue and water to form a protective barrier. Using blues and greys to match the original palette, Nick applies the first layer of masonry paint thickly to blend with the existing paint. He scuffs the new paint to mimic the weathered look and adds definition to the figures with a finer brush. A fan-shaped brush helps fill in the large green areas, ensuring the sign maintains its aged appearance. Saxon is impressed with Nick's work, noting that the sign retains its character and appears ready for another stint outdoors. The restoration, finished with a clear lacquer, enhances the sign's durability. Saxon believes the sign could fetch.
There it would make about £2,500 probably.
Nick's intuition and skill have added significant value to the sign, transforming it from a weathered relic to a valuable piece of commercial art. Rugs are not just for comfort, but also for fashion. In North Wales, business is booming for Drew and his team. The warehouse is busy and the shop is full of customers. Drew knows the importance of grabbing opportunities quickly. Timing is crucial in his business. In Leicestershire, he visits Pretwell Hall, where the owner, Edward, is clearing out items. Drew buys a cracked picture frame for £100.
The wear on it was becoming excessive. The next stage would be someone falling flat on their face.
He also purchases a large worn Turkish rug from the 1930s for £450, loving its old look. In an outbuilding, Drew finds a simple rustic chicken coop made from old planks. It's a farming chicken coop. You place the hen inside, put it on the lawn, add a bit of melatonin and leave it out there for the day. Eventually, the hen will lay an egg, and then it can be let out. He buys it for £140, believing it can be nicely restored. Back at the warehouse, Drew and his team clean the rug. It quickly sells to a customer in France. They also restore a damaged 19th century light fixture. Despite these successful sales, Drew can't part with a 4-foot penguin. The penguin remains a fun and unique piece in his collection. Drew's ability to find and restore unique items keeps his business thriving. Mirrors don't just reflect images, they can reflect stories of craftsmanship and transformation. Adam began learning cabinet making and furniture restoration at 16. After a decade as a restorer, he became a full-time antique dealer in 2016. Based in a business centre in Battersea, Adam's unique setup lets him store a large stock of items.
My clients are interior designers, private people, dealers.
Drew has visited Adam's place before, but hasn't seen the new room for separating objects from furniture yet. This visit excites him, as he hopes to find interesting pieces. Upon arrival, Drew is impressed by Adam's setup. At first, Drew was unsure about buying from Adam because his items were so polished. However, he quickly sold everything he bought from Adam and liked mixing their styles. One item that caught Drew's eye was a unique wall mirror with a foul wood grain and knots. Adam explained it had Mecca gilding, a technique from southern Italy and Sicily. Even though Drew liked the mirror, he didn't like the eagle on top. Adam said he could remove it in about half a day.
What I propose,
okay,
look at your face already. What I propose is, can you do it for £4,000 and take the eagle off in that price?
I can do it for 4.5 with the eagle off.
Adam carefully worked on the mirror, making sure the eagle came off smoothly and that the foul wood still looked just right.
Within days of Adam's restoration, Drew's found the de-eagled mirror a gracious new home.
Drew praised Adam's skillful work and unique style. At the workshop, a wobbly covered object appears. Soon, it was revealed to be an old Victorian farmhouse table. Its legs were of different lengths and had metal cappings. The table was well worn, loved, but hygienically challenged. Pine, used by Victorians, has natural oils that kill germs, making it ideal for kitchen tables. This table, though, needed restoration for kitchen use. Steve suggested filling the cracks with resin to prevent food from getting trapped. He planned to add modern smooth opening drawers. The goal was to maintain a natural Victorian pine look. For the table, Natasha had paid.
Asking how much you paid for it? 150. Oh, wow.
Steve began by stripping the old paint and scrubbing the grease from the pine top. He filled the cracks with clear resin, enhancing both hygiene and appearance.
Cracks up. It's a kitchen table, it needs to be hygienic, so we're going to put a crystal clear resin to fill it up level. It will stop any further food dropping into these cracks and also just give a lovely feature to.
Steve also needed to make new drawers, reusing old dovetails from his wood store. He carefully crafted and fitted hand-cut dovetails.
Nice hand-cut dovetails, decent fit. Once it's all sort of sanded in and cleaned back and they're nice and flat.
Finally, Steve showed Natasha the restored table. She was amazed by the transformation. Steve had built modern action drawers, evened the legs, and smoothed the top to a glass finish. The table was now hygienic and unique. In the castle town of Conwy, North Wales, Drew pictured deals in all kinds of antiques. With nearly 40 years in the business, he has a keen eye and the confidence to invest.
Nearly 40 years in the business has given him an eye for potential and the confidence to invest.
Today, he invites coppersmith Ted Edley and leather expert Martin Ashworth to his warehouse to view his latest find. Drew reveals a Velo Solex from the mid to late 1950s, produced in France.
So what I've got here for you chaps is a Velo Solex from the middle to late 1950s, produced in France.
This is a 49.9cc bike with a top speed of about 45 miles per hour. It's known for its cheap and simple motoring. It helped get France moving again after the Second World War. Drew purchased it for.
What did it cost you?
400 quid, right? So not a great deal of money.
Great project.
The bike's frame and wheels need polishing, but Drew wants to maintain its patina. The fuel tank is damaged and needs repair. Martin will create a new leather seat and pannier to enhance the bike's practicality. After filling the tank with water to remove fumes, Ted splits it to address the dents and resolders it. A faulty spark plug is replaced, ensuring the engine sparks correctly. The frame has been cleaned and polished, the tank repaired, and the engine mended. Martin's new leather seat and pannier add charm and practicality. Ian Hoffman was pleased to meet his visitor and show them his collection. Ian highlighted the notable pieces in his collection, including a pair of cockpen chairs from Scotland. One of these chairs, a proper Georgian piece from the 18th century, was by its beautiful scale and incredible originality. Ian mentioned that he had sourced it from Scotland just 40 miles away, and it was a rare find that was almost perfect. As they continued exploring, Ian showed another chair, which, although not as exceptional as the first, still had commendable qualities. This chair was heavily influenced by the British fascination with East Asian design, and it was made by a famous Scottish cabinet maker, Alex Peter. The visitor appreciated the height, timber and scale of the chair.
Some sympathetic restoration work, it could be worth around £1,200.
Next, Ian showed a 1930s chrome-painted floor-standing wheeled heat lamp, which caught the visitor's eye. Ian explained its original purpose for health and wellness and its unique design. They agreed of a price of £200, noting how well the lamp would complement the earlier pieces. The visit continued with Ian showcasing a butcher's block table, which was unique due to its splayed leg and a pine rack for knives and saws. The visitor was intrigued by its originality and condition, agreeing to a price of £700 after some negotiation.
It had to be very buyable because I might have it forever. But I think the colour and the scale, the originality and that splayed base will sell it.
Ian then introduced his next-door neighbour, who had a beautiful English fruitwood dresser. This piece, crafted in the 1760s, featured scrolled brackets, a boarded base, and an intricate moulded cornice. This visitor was enamoured with its mixed fruitwood construction, originality, and the subtle repairs it had undergone.
Look at the timbers, look at the scale, look how original it is. It's really beautiful, and I want it.
After moving the dresser into better light, its true beauty and craftsmanship were revealed, prompting the visitor to agree to a final price of £1,250.
Wow. Wow. What a thing. What a beautiful little thing. What a gentle piece of furniture.
Horses are majestic creatures, symbols of strength and grace, but this particular horse statue, made of rust and misery, tells a different story. It's not going to be running any races anytime soon, but it is remarkably heavy. Despite its terrible condition, all the pieces are intact. This 19th century cast iron statue, originally from a high-end house, is now in dire need of restoration. Ted, the metalworker from Dorset, took on the challenging task of restoring the statue. The task of welding it back together is extremely challenging due to its severe rust. The first step is to blast clean the statue back to bare metal. The plan involves using a metal coating over the top to revitalize it, with metal leaf being the preferred choice over gold leaf. The goal is to age it down to avoid a very bright finish. The statue, brought for a small token gesture, represents a significant journey from scrap to something profoundly amazing. The restoration process begins with sandblasting, revealing numerous cracks and holes. The welder must create valleys in the joints for better weld penetration. Although cast iron welding proves difficult and results in recurring cracks,
More holes. The holes just got bigger. Joy.
to fill the gaps, metal pieces are used to bridge larger holes. After welding, Ruth Tappan in Leek, Staffordshire, transformed the statue's appearance with her skillful gilding. She uses her sculpting skills to remodel the missing tip of the tail using epoxy resin. For the final finish, Ruth applies metal leaf over a yellow base coat to ensure thorough coverage.
Straight edge. I'm trying to overlap so I don't get that straight edge. So my torn edge is the outside edge.
She carefully overlaps the torn edges of the leaf to avoid visible lines. Upon completion, the statue, once destined for the scrapyard, is transformed into a stunning piece. The combined effects of expert welding and the intricate metal leaf finish have resurrected it into a champion thoroughbred, now ready to be displayed proudly. The restoration highlights the perseverance and skill required to turn a piece of rusted metal into a beautiful work of art.
It was for the knackers yard. Let's face it, it was 5 or 6 bits.
It was quite poorly, wasn't it?
It was embarrassing. It really was, and I'm just drinking it all in. It's what an amazing job.
Transformed it from an also-ran into a champion thoroughbred for someone with the space to show it.
Armours are more than just metal. They hold stories of skill and history.
In Dorset, not far from the ruins of medieval Corfe Castle, Ted Headley has his workshop.
Ted is a skilled coach builder and artist. Today, antique dealer Mary Swallow is bringing him a unique item. She thinks it is perfect for his skills. Mary is meeting Ted for the first time and has brought an unusual Victorian item. Ted finds out it's a suit of armour from a mansion in Northumberland. Displaying suits of armour in homes was fashionable after the Earl of Eglinton's 1839 tournament. This armour was later found to be a forgery by Samuel Pratt, including a hand and a codpiece. Ted decides to recreate them. He uses the existing right hand as a template and carefully takes it apart to see how it's made. He plans to do the same for the left hand, sewing steel plates onto a leather glove. The work is repetitive but therapeutic for Ted, with the hand protector done.
But Ted still has to make a codpiece from scratch.
He shrinks and stretches the metal to match the original pieces. Ted's workshop machines make the job faster than it was for the original armourers. By carefully shaping and smoothing, Ted ensures the new piece looks like the original. Mary returns and finds her investment transformed. What was once a rusty heap is now a shiny suit of armour, thanks to Ted's skill. The restored armour is ready to impress, showing off its history and Ted's excellent metalwork. Chairs are not only for sitting, but also for fashion. The video demonstrates the detailed repair process of an iconic Ercole chair. Despite extensive damage, such as a split seat, loose legs, and broken stretchers, the chair's value is highlighted. The process begins by gently using a rubber mallet.
Bought over 160 of these from the haberdasher's school.
Using a strong, quick drying polyurethane glue, ample adhesive is applied for a secure bond. The repair involves cleaning and roughing up the tops of the legs with sandpaper. This ensures a strong timber-to-timber bond when reattaching the seat. A central crack is addressed using a clamp and softwood blocks to prevent damage.
Let's get it knocked apart.
After allowing the glue to set, excess glue is meticulously peeled off without scratching the surface. Repairs are then smoothed out with sandpaper before repolishing. Practical tips are provided throughout the process. The use of quality tools and materials is emphasized. This ensures the restored chair is solid as a rock. The video demonstrates transferable skills for other furniture repairs. The Ercole chair, once restored, combines beauty and durability. This highlights how furniture can transcend mere functionality, adding an element of fashion to any space. Plate racks elegantly display memories and heirlooms. At the Buccleuch estate in Scotland, a salvage enthusiast eagerly awaits news from the Duke, hoping to secure valuable finds after persistent efforts to gain access. Negotiations with Richard led to the purchase of plate racks and other items for £130, marking a satisfying deal for the enthusiast. Continuing his journey to Coventry, he visits Pete Gilbert, whose expansive scrapyard, spanning generations, evokes nostalgic memories of childhood dreams of owning such a place. Among the treasures, he spots a mid-century Whippet statue. He successfully negotiates its purchase with Pete's wife.
They're either been made by somebody at an art college or something like that.
In addition to the statue, he acquires 1950s enamel factory pendants. The purchase of distinctive Romanesque pots follows a consultation with Pete's wife. This adventure showcases the enthusiast's knack for identifying valuable and unique items.
Mid-century Whippet is very collectible and can sell for around £200.
Nice.
His adept negotiation skills contribute significantly to his success in acquiring them. Each purchase adds to his satisfaction, affirming his passion for salvaging and reselling items of historical and aesthetic value. The experience at Pete Gilbert's scrapyard highlights the enthusiast's joy in exploring. He uncovers hidden gems amidst the vast collection of eclectic artifacts. Overall, the journey from the Buccleuch estate to Coventry yields tangible treasures. It also reaffirms the enthusiast's dedication to the art of salvage hunting. Moreover, it underscores the thrill of discovering artifacts with rich stories to tell. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
Said she'd let you have that.
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Will.
Art is more than mere expression. It's a journey of discovery. Drew and his team arrived at the Blacksmith shop gallery. They were greeted with an unexpected and incredible display of art. They were fascinated by Alan Gumerson's works. His career at Leeds College of Art spanned from the mid-50s to the mid-80s. After retiring, Gummerson created many models, pottery and paintings. The gallery featured Gummerson's assemblages. His work often had anti-war themes. He used ordinary materials but displayed artistic genius. The team found Gummerson's art captivating in its spontaneity and its childlike purity. It reflected his belief in preserving creativity without adult interference. Throughout their visit, Drew and his colleagues discovered various pieces.
Strongly influenced by Gummerson's prizing of artistic imperfection, these naive and quirky sketches of a woman reclining and a couple in bed.
They admired the intricate details and the work's well-preserved condition. Among the displayed items, they found a remarkable pair of 1930s Travert lights, showcasing timeless design. Drew purchased several of Gummerson's artworks for
£1,200.
No, I think 50. I think it's a good price. I really think that's a good price.
Promoting a talented outsider artist, they left feeling validated in their efforts to promote Gummerson's work. In a recent visit to Rain and James, Drew Pritchard, renowned for his antique acquisitions, explored the unique offerings of the establishment. Situated on the expansive farmland that once hosted an equestrian centre, Rain and James is not your average antique shop. Owned by Philip Moyse, a collector with a penchant for the quirky and tactile, the showroom boasted an array of eclectic treasures. Among the finds was a rusticated cast-iron garden seat, which, despite its rot, caught Drew's eye immediately. Drew secured the unique piece by negotiating its price down from £375 to...
We'll bust it, 280 and have it. Deal.
Inside, he discovered cast-iron lobsters, which were hand-painted. Drew priced for the pair.
£30.
Each.
Each. So £50 the pair.
£55.
Further exploration revealed a reproduction of a vintage freak show sign, meticulously painted on canvas. This sign was sold for...
I would take 85 for it.
£85. Sold. Thank you very much.
Drew saw potential profit in its whimsical charm and period-appropriate styling. Another standout was an enamel sign from the early 1900s advertising a local removal business. Drew negotiated down from £225 to
180.
Oh, man. 185. Come on, bust it.
Sold.
Okay.
Upstairs, in the storeroom, Drew found and purchased 4 vintage cupboard doors, noting their craftsmanship and agreeing on a price of
£195 for the 4. We'll have them, thank you very much.
Right, okay.
Overall, Drew's visit to Rain and James proved fruitful. Cars are not only for travelling, but also for luxurious times and memorable experiences. At the start of a 3-day trip, a salvage hunter makes a risky deal. He buys an item for
£200.
That is being really fair.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
He also buys an antique waiting room sign for
75 quid?
Yeah, that is definitely.
Is that all right?
thinking both items will sell well. During a visit to a property developer, he finds these items. The developer also has a Citroen 2CV car. The hunter becomes interested in the car. Even though he promised himself not to buy more cars, he negotiates the price down too.
I think probably as it stood, £750.
£750.
Ooh. With an MOT, £1,000.
He feels he might have paid too much. Reflecting on the day, he sees a mix of small losses and gains, but overall, he's happy with his purchases. As they leave, there's a funny moment. The turnstile is very heavy, and the team handles it while he takes care of important business in the kitchen. Wall lights and lanterns spread light across our rooms, illuminating our spaces with warmth. They also infuse our living areas with character, adding a touch of personality to our homes. In a lovely meeting, a visitor admires Rosie's home, where she's lived for 34 years. Rosie jokes about how different it looked when she bought it, like a mix of shiny black beams and white panels everywhere. Showing off her impressive collection of old things, Rosie is well known in the antique business and highly respected. Her separate showroom buildings, located adjacent to her house, function as an extension of her home. This setup makes her work easier and her collection more accessible to visitors and clients.
He wants to see her legendary collection of personal antiques.
Inside, Rosie specializes in old English house items, especially from the 18th century. All real and authentic. The visitor shows interest in purchasing several items. These include an old brass lantern and large copper wall lights dating back to the 1800s. Each deal shows Rosie's skill and the visitor's ability to spot things that could make money. After a satisfying day, the visitor leaves happy and impressed by Rosie's huge collection. They look forward to coming back for more deals in the future, thanks to Rosie's friendly ways. During a visit, Drew Pritchard encountered an Italian limewood marionette, likely from around 1883, resembling Pinocchio. The puppet, heavily worn and missing arms, stood as a rare relic from the classic tale's early days. Despite its condition, Drew saw potential and purchased it for. Back at their workshop, Michael and Maria began restoration. Maria started by cleaning the puppet's blackened eyes, revealing the white underneath. Michael's challenge was to carve new arms and hands, replicating traditional wooden forearms and hands attached to canvas rolls. He carefully shaped the thumb and fingers to ensure functionality. Maria created a new outfit for Pinocchio. She uses potato-printed fabric to mimic the original flower pattern paper clothing from the book. The transformation included attaching the signature long nose and adding a wooden control bar for movement. When completed, the restored Pinocchio was returned to Drew. Drew marveled at the puppet's lifelike appearance and intricate detailing. Drew, estimating the marionette's worth at around.
The value of him now is probably about 850.
He praised Michael and Maria's craftsmanship, noting the puppet's charm, age, and decorative appeal. Karen bought a broken Georgian mirror to Ruth for restoration. The mirror had grand decorations originally, likely from George III's era. Ruth identified slits on the frame for wooden decorations, confirming its grandeur. Karen bought the mirror at a flea market for.
It was an absolute bargain, £40.
You picked this up for £40?
£40.
A Georgian mirror for £40?
From a flea market.
Ruth planned to gild the frame and paint it with traditional milk paint. She estimated the restored mirror's value to exceed £2.
It will also be worth in excess of £3.5 grand. It's fair, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Ruth meticulously applied 22 coats of gesso and sanded the surface for a smooth finish. She burnished 64 balls on the frame, making them reflective. Ruth made homemade yellow ochre milk paint to match the original Georgian style. She painted the eagle with black milk paint for a perfect finish. When Karen saw the restored mirror, she was amazed by its beauty. Ruth added a wooden eagle, gilded 64 balls, and replaced missing decorations. The mirror's frame, re-gilded and polished, now looked magnificent. Karen expected to sell the mirror for around.
Looking at it fresh now, 4.5, 5. Wow.
Both were thrilled with the result, anticipating a good profit. Sofas are art and an integral part of the house, offering comfort and style. The crew's skilled upholsterer takes on a big challenge, fixing what is said to be the worst Chesterfield sofa in the world. The sofa is about 100 years old and is full of dirt and woodworm damage.
The dirt that's coming out of this is going to be 100 years old at least, and it could be anything.
Despite its terrible condition, the sofa goes through a careful process to bring it back to life. The first step is removing the old, dirty fabric. As much of the original materials as possible is saved. Parts like springs and horsehair are cleaned and reused. The broken frame is fixed with new wood. After many hours of hard work, the sofa starts to look good again. New fabric is added, showing off the classic Chesterfield diamond pattern. This sofa shows the crew's dedication and skill. They turned a ruined sofa into a beautiful green velvet Chesterfield. Now it's worth over £1,000. The sofa keeps its original charm while becoming strong and stylish again.
It's going to add a bit of washing up liquid to them. Let's mix that in a bit.
This transformation highlights the expertise of the crew. They can revive even the most hopeless pieces of furniture. The end result is a stunning, valuable piece that looks nothing like the wreck it once was.